Good afternoon, and here is your daily math recap on identifying patterns in tables. So I've got two different tables here. We'll look at the first table, and again, we're still talking about number patterns, and in particular looking at an input and then an output and noticing what pattern, what relationship do we have between the input and the outputs in this table. So when we look at this table, what we want to do is we want to think 2 and 4. So I started with 2 and I ended with 4. So what should I do in order to get 4? Well, it looks like I should do plus 2. Well, let's go to our pattern here. 5 equals 7. Well, again, I'm doing plus 2 to get 7. My input is 6. Plus 2 will give me 8, my output. 7 plus 2 will give me 9. And 8 plus 10, or I'm sorry, 8 plus 2 will give me 10. So my pattern looks like I'm doing plus 2 each time. This this type of pattern is called an additive pattern. We have the word add in our word additive because we're adding. Now, based on this, now let's write a rule for this table. Well, if I take my input R and I add 2, because that's what I did each time, I'll get the output T. So T equals R plus 2. That's my rule. Okay. Let's go over here to this table, see if we can identify the pattern. Again, I want to think about my input and my output and what relation they have. So let's start with our first input, 1, and our output is 7. Now you could say plus 6, but let's see if that works for the other one. 2, 14. A plus 6 wouldn't work there, but a times 7 would, and it would also work here. So let's do times 7 equals 7. That works. Times 7 equals 14. That works. The next input is 3 times 7 equals 21. That works. And 4 times 7 equals 28. That works. So the relationship between my input and my output is times 7. We call this type of pattern multiplicative. Notice that it has multiplication or part of multiplication in the word, so that tells me that I'm multiplying. The relationship between the input and the output is I'm multiplying the same number each time. So now let's write the rule for this pattern. In order for me to find the output P, I have to take the input A and multiply times 7. One way we can write that is putting the number next to the letter, which should make us think 7 times A. Okay. Alright, let's do one example of a word problem where we're going to have to make a table and discover the rule in the pattern. The rule for a pattern is C equals 6W. What is the output C when the input W is 6? Well, let's just draw our table just to demonstrate how we can use it to solve for our answer. It's saying that W is your input, C is your output. it says that I'm going to take some number times 6 to get C. So if I start with 1 times 6 will give me 6. If I do 2 times 6 will give me 12. If I do 3 times 6 will give me 18. If I do 4 times 6 will give me 24. So the rule C equals 6W is telling me that if I do 1 times 6, I'll get an output of 6. 2 times 6, I'll get an output of 12. So if we go back and it says the input is 6, if I do times 6, my output should be 36. So the table helps me discover that pattern, and then I can skip to the answer, the number that it actually gave me, and continue with that same pattern to find my answer. So my answer is 36. I hope this video has been helpful. Remember to make sure you bring questions to class if you didn't understand, and we'll see you tomorrow.